To create this drill-down regional sales analysis with color-coded product categories, we'll first create a drill-down chart that's interactive by using set actions. So we can click on a region like the South and see the total sales revenue for all the states within the South. We can also drill down on Texas and see all the city sales that make up Texas's total. We'll also disable highlighting using a filter action, add some reference lines so we can see the total sales over here on the right, and design our own custom legend so it can be larger than the Tableau default legend size. Another way to create expanding and collapsing charts is using hierarchies. And while they're much simpler to build, the advantage of using set actions is that it reduces the visual clutter, so we can have a more detailed analysis of one region at a time. Whereas the hierarchical views display the regions, states, and cities at the same time. Excel file and Tableau are linked below. To create the drill down level chart, we'll start by creating the structure by adding region, state, and city to the rows. We'll also add revenue to the columns. It automatically summed the measure of revenue, but if you want to change the type of aggregation, you can right-click the field, go to measure, and select a different type. It'll usually go straight to a horizontal bar chart, but if it doesn't, you can go to the top right-hand corner and click Show Me and choose the horizontal bar chart. I like to hide the axis since we're going to use reference lines to show the totals. So I'll right-click on the revenue axis and uncheck Show Header. To set up the expansion of the groupings, we'll start by creating a regional set. By right-clicking on the regional field, Create Set. I'll click Use All and OK. So now we have a set that holds the values for regions that are selected, like a filter. We'll create a calculated field that identifies what state values belong to the selected regional values. So in the calculated field, we'll say if the regional set is true, aka selected, then give us all the state values. I called it state with a colon to distinguish it from our state field. You can also tell it's a calculated field because it'll have 2 dashes next to the ABC. For the next level, it's important that we create the state set using the state calculated field, not the original. We want to use the calculated field that has the state values assigned to the regional values for the drill down. Create a calculated field for city and say if the regional set and the state set are true, aka selected, then give us the city values, else nothing. Replace the state and city fields with the calculated fields we just created, which are the ones with the colons. I'm going to zoom through the process of creating a rounded box and background for the dashboard, but I have another video that covers that, so we can add our bar chart to the dashboard. We want to make sure our object is set at floating and drag the bar chart worksheet into the dashboard. We'll resize it and right-click and hide the title. We also want to make sure it fills up the entire view. We'll use set actions to make our chart interactive. Using the dashboard tab at the top, select Actions. This can also be done at the worksheet level. Then create set action. We'll need to create 2 of these. We'll call this our region set and choose the source sheet as the bar chart. Have the target set be the region set. Running the action will assign values to the set, and clearing it will remove all values. Now we can click on regions and see the states, but still all the cities are popping up for all states. For the second set, we'll repeat the same process, call it state set, and add the target set to be the state set. Now when we click on a state, we can see all the cities within that state instead of all the cities within that region. But it's highlighting the selected values in blue and graying out the rest of the values. To remove the highlighting, we can use a filter action. Going back to the worksheet, create a calculated field called true with the value true in it. Add that to the marks. Do the same thing for false. Going back to the dashboard, we'll go back to Dashboard, Actions, and create a filter action. We want the first source sheet to be the dashboard bar chart, but we want the target sheet to be not the dashboard bar chart, but the bar chart itself, so there should be nothing in that box. Clearing the section will show all values and choose the selected fields true, then false. Now we can click on any region, state, or city to drill down, and we don't have to see all the grayed out and highlighting. To get the total values next to the bars, we'll go back to bar chart, go to analytics, and add a reference line. Drag that to cell, change it to sum, have the label be value, and get rid of the line. Right-click Format, and we can change the font to be a little bit larger, the alignment to be on the right-hand side. This is what the middle looks like. And the shading, I like to change this to 100% whatever the background color is, just in case it gets covered by something else. Now for the number, I'm going to change this to millions and take away a decimal point. So now we can see the sum of 123 million for the South. Tableau will let you change the size of the font for legends, but not the space in between each line. And sometimes you have more real estate to work with, and you want the legend to be proportionate to the size of your other objects. First, we'll drag category into the marks and change it from details to color. Then I'll right-click on the category, edit colors, and choose my custom color palette. Now we can see what it looks like on the dashboard. To create a custom legend, we'll create two tabs, one called Colors and one called Names. On the Names tag, we'll drag category into the rows. On the Colors tab, we'll also drag category into the rows and category into the marks and change it from detail to color. We'll right-click on the category and unclick Show Header. Now we can drag it to make it bigger. We can also change the size of the boxes within the cell. On the Names tab, we'll right-click Format, click on Shading, and remove the row banding. I'll also hide the field label and remove the row divider. I'm also going to remove the row divider on the Colors tab, so there's no lines at the top and bottom. Back on the Names tab, I'll resize and hide the ABC. You can resize it to make the ABC super small, but I don't like that there's still a dot. So a workaround I found is you can use any measure like count of data and move it to the marks, change it to text, then format that measure and change the font to be the same color as the background. Now we can add our legend worksheets to the dashboards as floating objects. I'll hide the titles and play around with the sizing. I'm going to change the text of the legend to be a size 10. Now you can see Tableau's legend versus our custom legend. Even though they are both size 10 font, our custom legend is a lot easier to read. I'll remove the default legend and add a title to our dashboard. For the bar chart, I'm going to remove column dividers and the grid lines. I'll change the font type and color for region and state so we can easily identify the hierarchy. I'm going to move a few things around and do some resizing because I changed my mind on how I want it to look. I also want to get rid of these lines at the top and the bottom of the chart, so I'm going to use a blank text box and fill it with a white background. And then I'll just move it over the lines. Because our view is static in that it fills the entire view, no matter how many rows of data there is, we don't have to worry about the bar chart moving to expose those lines. Now that I've removed those lines, I've also decided I want to add some shading to our regions. So I'm going to go through and change the shade of each of these. This will further distinguish our levels. I'm also going to remove the row divider for the pane, but keep the row divider for the header. I'm going to do a few touch-ups. Now we have a drill down of regional sales analysis that is color-coded by product categories. This interactive graph makes it easy to look at the sales revenue from different regions, states, and cities. We can see that a majority of the West Coast sales revenue is electronics. And if we click into it, we can see that California plays a big role. Three-level drill-down dashboards reduce the visual clutter, which makes navigating the dashboard more intuitive, and it allows users to dial in on specific regions.